New at noon, the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation says they have busted two Romanian brothers who ran a theft ring involving stolen SNAP benefits.
That's right. The thieves were allegedly targeting stores in our area. Their crimes resulted in losses totaling more than $1 million. The SBI shared these images of the arrest and bust. They say along with Homeland Security and the USDA, they were able to arrest the brothers, Marian and Catalin Dumitru. They are both reportedly in the country illegally. Authorities say on August 1st of last year, they purchased $15,000 worth of goods from a Sam's Club in Matthews and other stores in Pineville and Gastonia. When one of their homes was searched, police found evidence of fraudulent money card production. Both brothers have pleaded guilty to wire